That leg back up too. You know what that mean? Pause. Anyway, I'm mad as shit. I can't even hold y'all. Like, I ain't really want to make no videos today. Me and my girlfriend got in a big argument, and I was definitely a dickhead. I think I was justified though. This is a little therapy session, but that's not what this episode is about. Welcome back to the Half a Day Show. I'm your host, Jay Half a Day, the flyest man on the internet, and today we gonna be talking about why women ain't shit. That ain't my brand. That ain't my genre. Come on, lock in. This is the weekly roundup, part 2. I think this is going to be more of a compilation series where I recap some of my greatest hits throughout the week. I ain't have enough content last week because my mic kept going in and out, so I'm going to be stacking roundup 1 and roundup 2 together, and we're going to post this on YouTube. Speaking of some housekeeping, if you're not following the Half a Day Show page on TikTok, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, you voted for Donald Trump and you're racist and you hate black people and you probably don't like me. Y'all heard that, right? That's what they said? I'm just the messenger. But yeah, go ahead and do that. Lock in with me. I got my foot up. I'm dignified. I talk real nice. I talk real slow. I talk real fast. I can do whatever. I do a lot. I talk about sports. I talk about entertainment. I talk about politics. But today we're going to be talking about my greatest hits from this week. This camera is a little crooked, so I'm looking at y'all. And I'm looking at you and I'm telling you, lock in with me because I got some bangers for y'all on today's episode. So let's get to it.
Is this camera on me?
I hope so.
Dune Prophecy. I really liked episode 1. I thought that the pacing was pretty good. It did a good job of showing who's the who's. 10,000 years before my dog Paul Atreides was born. If you didn't watch Dune Prophecy episode 1, I highly encourage you go do that on Max. Shout out to y'all. It's a good show about the witches behind the scene and how they came to be who they are with the truth seeking, truth telling, all that shit. And they done added a whole bunch more lore. I didn't really read the books, so I'm just experiencing all this shit for the first time. And I'm really enjoying how the series is playing out so far. One thing I didn't really like though is that they made the dad or the emperor really dumb. I hate that trope in movies, but they're doing it well, I guess. They always balance it with the sensible mother who has their own conspiracy theories about how shit should be ran. And they really should be the ruler, but he already got some witches in his back pocket, so he ain't going for that. Another thing, this show freaky as hell. Not gonna lie to you. They get that spice, they get that spice in their system and they start doing whatever. They got techno drugs. I'm like, is this where we're headed? Not me. But yeah, they doing crazy, creepy white folk drugs, white folk astronaut drugs. And they doing whatever they want to do. It definitely gives a Game of Thrones vibes. It's got good lore behind it. Got a lot of characters. You could tell this is an HBO show. And I'm not mad at it because we needed another one after that House of Dragon bullshit that they did last season. Yeah, this is y'all redemption, Max, HBO. Y'all need to step y'all shit up. What else did I talk about? Let's go back to the board, the big board. Oh, so I saw this other video on TikTok. I'm going to play it for y'all here in a second.
Oh, and I'm going to clock this T while we at it too. The reason why the spreading of information and the absorption of knowledge and information is so fucking difficult, besides the fact that our education system fails people literally from the moment they step foot in kindergarten, but it's also because the people that's trying to spread the information, the experts that get on here to spread the information are condescending, elitist, and they don't make it understandable to the lay individual. You want to know how I know? Because I speak Ebonics, okay? Multiple degrees in, an expert in my field, and I speak Ebonics. And when I get on here and I'm giving information for the layperson to understand, all the elitists get in my comment section and talk about how ghetto I am.
This lady was talking about how people really be trying to police her videos because she talk a certain way. She talking Ebonics, like how I talk to y'all, you know what I'm saying? And I've always had a pet peeve with how internet experts like position themselves like to social media. Like they really like get their rocks off by like talking down to people and talking real sophisticated and using language and lingo that only they really know how to like decipher. And it's like, knowledge ain't supposed to be a code. It ain't supposed to be a mystery. People are supposed to understand what you're talking about. And if they can't understand what you're talking about, you're not doing a good job of delivering your message. So I said that and I meant that, and I'm going to double down. Like, yeah, there's a literacy issue, but there's also a communication issue. Communication is listening and hearing. You see, I'm dumb. Listening and speaking. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if people are constantly misunderstanding you or misinterpreting you, maybe you need to change your delivery because the audience isn't picking up what you're putting down. So yeah, people don't know how to talk to folks. Like they really are elitist, they really are classist, and academia is inherently that. Like they get their rocks off by gatekeeping what they really want to say. We don't have to talk that way, folks. We can just deliver the message right where we need to, the lowest common denominator. Let's move along. I think I'm gonna get all these takes out in under 10 minutes. Yeah, homogenization of romance. So I saw this other tweet where this lady was talking about how the internet and social media has changed the way that romance and desire is perceived, mainly amongst women. But I went on to say that it's also impacted how men like experience and, give romantic gestures. Like I use myself as a personal, experience here. And two of my old relationships, I've had like Valentine's Day gifts, birthday presents, anniversary gifts go underappreciated or overall just like not welcomed because they didn't meet a certain standard of like Instagram or Twitter. So now my whole thing is like, first of all, I was poor back then, but now it's like we got a little change in the pocket. So it's like now I'm like everything got to be grand. If it ain't Instagrammable, I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that's necessarily me or if that is like society changing the way that I operate within a relationship. Food for thought. Another question for my therapist, but I ain't really talking about that shit right now because I'm mad at her. Yeah, love her lots, Jada. If you see this video ever, thinking about you. You ain't text me and call me, and she called me a million times. So, it's been awkwardly quiet. It means I've been super productive today. But yeah, I'm mad at her still, low key. And it's a little bittersweet because it's our anniversary tomorrow, 2 years, and we probably ain't gonna do nothing. She told me don't talk to her. Um, so I'm respecting boundaries. We'll see if she comes around, but I definitely deserve an apology. Um, Fellas, if you're watching this, you gotta learn when to pick and choose your battles. I chose mine yesterday, and I went out swinging. Well, not literally. I don't condone that shit, but I definitely threw a little verbal jabs back here and there. Um, hmm Definitely was acting a little bit out of character, but sometimes you gotta pop out and show people because I feel like sometimes women, when you really nice and really sweet to them, because that's who I am. But like people often, mainly women, will often like forget that, you know what I'm saying? They can't talk to you in certain ways. So yeah, I put my foot down and now I'm reaping the repercussions and that's fine. I'm living with it. We'll come back around to it, but sometimes unhealthy conversation is needed to set a precedent. You can't just let people run over you. And that's where I was at. Moving along. Hall of Fame tweets. So I had a question for everybody. Since we're all moving to Blue Sky, and if you're not following me on Blue Sky, follow me on Blue Sky, Jay Haffaday. Jay Haffaday, all platforms. Follow me everywhere, or you're anti-black. But yeah, back to the point. Since we all leaving Twitter and going to Blue Sky, I wanted to know, what is a tweet that you would submit to the Hall of Fame? Like, if you could put one tweet in the Hall of Fame, what would you put in there and why? So I submitted mine. I said the tweet where Meek was answering the question, asking him if he was neurodivergent into there. Because I thought that was hilarious. Because, like, neurodivergent wasn't a word in the trenches. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't never heard that word until probably like 2020. Until the pandemic. I ain't never heard that word until TikTok. Where did all these neurodivergent... Can't talk. Where did all these neurodivergent... Where the neurodivergent niggas at? Was they there the whole time and we just ain't know what to call them? I don't know. I'm not neurodivergent. Meek Mill might be though, and that's not like a slander, but it's something. You know what I'm saying? Like he got some thoughts that are consistent with the studies. I ain't read no studies. I'm stereotyping. Forgive me. Cancel me for that one. Shout out to the neurodivergent niggas though, for real. We know y'all exist now, but we ain't have a word for that growing up. Now here's the update to the NBA tier list. Green screen in the back. Cool. I think I want to move the Heat into ass. The Heat fucking suck. I watched the game where Tyler Hero went for 37 and they only won by like a layup or some shit. That is terrible. If Tyler Hero is the reason why your team is getting wins, we're in bad shape. Like, if we have a great performance by him, you should be blowing teams out. But they're not. Now let's move along though. people are doubling down on their take that the Warriors are better than my Thunder. I'm gonna listen. Based on how they're playing, I will move the Warriors up to the title contender tier. They were already a playoff lock for me. I believed in the Warriors, and I've always believed in the Warriors. As long as they got Steph, they are always going to be competitive. But now I'm gonna move them into that title contender spot, and we're gonna see come May where they fall. Same thing with the Cavaliers. I'll put them in the title contender spot. But everybody else is staying right where they're at because I haven't seen enough just yet. Honestly, the Magic might move up. When Paolo comes back healthy, I think I might move them up. But that's it for this episode. This is the Weekly Roundup, Part 2. Thank y'all for listening. Maybe I'll do another one later on this week. We'll see. But I like this. There's plenty of clippable content. And this has been an episode of The Half of This Show. Education, entertainment, and everything in between. See y'all next week. Peace.